Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Open. I didn't realize you were there already. Anywho, Faith Newman is part of Reservoir Media, one of the world's fastest growing independent music publishers and songwriting incubators. And so Faith is credited, to helping develop hip hop legends such as LL Cool J, the Fugees, and Big L. Let's take a look at her story.
My name is Faith Newman. I am the Senior Vice President of A&R and Catalog Development at Reservoir, a music publishing company. I do two things here, and that's why my title is A&R and Catalog Development, because I sign current artists, writers, producers, but I also sign catalogs, like historic catalogs. The stuff that I sign most recently would be Migos. I signed 2 Chainz, I signed Joey Badass, I signed a group called Phanogram. I started as an intern when I was 16. For a concert promoter in Philadelphia, where I grew up. Then I moved to New York to go to college, go to NYU, and I got an internship when I was 19 at Columbia Records, and that led to me getting a job at Def Jam when I was 20 years old. It was incredible. I was one of the first 5 people hired, the first woman hired. I didn't sleep a lot, but you know, when you're that age, you don't really need a lot of sleep. Def Jam had the biggest acts signed to label. It's just Public Enemy, LL Cool J, Slick Rick, Beastie Boys. I mean, we were hip hop. The Bronx was the foundation of all of this, with Kool Herc and Bambaataa, and it was an amazing time. I decided that I wanted to have the experience of going to a major label. Going to Columbia, the idea was for me to create a hip hop division within Columbia proper, to make their own mark in the hip hop culture. I signed Nas my second week on the job at Columbia. Nobody thought that hip hop would become as big as it's become. And then again with Nas, you know, people were excited, but they were saying it was taking so long to put the record out, the record's never going to come out, it's like it's a wasted moment and all this stuff, but I knew that once it did, it would, you know, change people's lives, so, and it did. But I found that doing A&R at publishing, you know, at a publishing company is kind of the same as doing it at a label. It's so easy to kind of do it yourself now, or to go to just a distributor. There's so many different places you can put your music. So I guess my mantra is to just really go with my gut about something, see what it can become. But you still always need a good publisher, in my mind.
And welcome back to the studio. Impressive, Faith Newman. Yes, okay, so now we're gonna shoot on over to the South Bronx Cribs. That's right, it's actually a project that was inspired by the MTV show Cribs to represent the South Bronx residents and their community. And so the projects are now complete and will be shown at an upcoming screening. And joining us now to share more, we welcome the project director of South Bronx Cribs, Lucia de la Paolera, along with filmmaker Esther Gonzalez. Hello and welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We had you on when this project was first being initiated, and now you're at completion.
Yes.
Well, how did that go?
It's been a really fun and challenging process. So we started the workshops in the fall, and basically, as you said, the initial inspiration for the show was the show MTV Cribs, and the idea was to take residents from the neighborhood of all ages. So we actually had participants from 17 to 71 years old, so a really diverse perspectives, and to have them represent
71.
Exactly.
That's cool. How many people did you choose?
There were 10 all in all, and
Okay.
basically they were a self-selected group. So I know Esther called me because she found a flyer on a lamppost with my phone number on it, and
Right.
just called me up. So whoever wanted to take the workshops could, all levels of experience, and the idea was for them to shoot these kind of home tours and to represent their homes and their neighborhood on their own terms. You know, the South Bronx is often written about really negatively in the mainstream press, so I thought, why not let people here talk about it themselves?
Right, from authentic voices.
Exactly.
And so did you train them to?
Yes.
Okay,
we had
so
a
tell me
series
about
of
the
workshops.
process a little bit.
Exactly. So we had instructors, and they learned the basics of using the camera. It was a Canon 7D, and of editing and of shooting. But the really interesting thing was we had this idea that it would be like MTV Cribs, but then the participants came, and of course, they had their own ideas, and they ended up being a lot more powerful and in-depth than what I imagined. So it made the process a lot harder in a certain way, because people made in-depth documentaries, but it made it a lot more interesting.
So it's not a show, rather the documentaries, because you're going to do like a little mini festival of some sort, right?
Yes, we're
but
doing
it's
mini.
not all related to just being at the crib.
No, there are a few that are like that, but
Right.
some of them, Esther's especially, are much more in depth. And
So leading into Esther's story, let's just say, and I just want to acknowledge you, because
Thank
what
you.
you did was you woke up the artistry within these individuals, right? Having them design a documentary around whatever passion or whatever they hold passionate
Right.
in their process. And I know, and I say artistry just because, you know, we deal with stories, or we have stories. We all have our own stories in our head, and they either sit there or you do something about it. And Esther's chosen
Exactly.
this platform to do something about it. And now we're ready to hear your story, Esther.
I decided to do the project on my brother's because he was convicted 25 years to life of a murder that he didn't even commit.
Right. And so, you know, how long has he been incarcerated right now?
He's been in 12 years already.
He's been in 12 years. So you've been sitting for 12 years knowing that your brother has been falsely arrested, and you can't do anything about it.
Right, we can't do anything about it. He's spoken to like many people, and a lot of people just didn't want to hear his story. So I figured this is the opportunity
So
to like
wha-
help him get his story out there.
It's a wonderful way to also for yourself to
Right.
release the injustice.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And so, but why can't you guys do something about it? What is it that I guess got him falsely convicted?
He had a court-appointed lawyer who didn't do his job. I mean, we didn't pay for a lawyer, so the case wasn't, I guess, taken, you know, seriously. They didn't have like evidence to convict him, and it's just he's in there.
It was kind of like
It
an
was-
open shut case. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is evidence, and
They just needed to lock someone up, and it was my brother.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's a long story behind
no,
it, but
I
it's
could
just
feel,
like,
I could feel your hurt and your pain and your anger too. So,
Right.
what did this inspire you to create in documentary style?
I just want to help him. I
So,
just
but
need
what
help.
does your story entail? The story that you captured.
We did
You
phone
went, you
interviews.
joined this project, right? And it was supposed to be about your home. So I'm curious, like, how it ties into your brother's story.
We did phone interviews with him.
Okay.
We, you know, shot like where the murder took place, like in Brooklyn, and it's just a little bit of,
We drove up to
A
Sing
lot.
Sing together, actually.
yeah,
drove
we
up.
drove up to the prison, and
Okay, so I'm
shot
looking
some
at some
videos.
images right now, and I see the film's name is Innocence and Freedom, and we saw an image of you in the car. We saw images of his documentary. So, I mean, sorry, not his documentary, his documents.
His
I guess.
documents, yeah.
And so you drove up to Sing Sing. So this is coming from your perspective
Mm-hmm.
of your suffering in trying to find a way to get your brother out.
right.
Right, I just
Yeah.
summed it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was trying to get out of
Right.
you. And so, where do you hope? What do you hope to do with this?
I'm hoping to, you know, get his story out so that we can be able to like raise money to get him
A lawyer.
a lawyer, a paid lawyer, someone who, you know, will really like look into his case and look for all these evidence to help him come home.
And so, with you and just your amazing selfless work that you're doing for the community, well. The thing is that you're giving these people a voice, and while we all have voices, we're not all documented,
Right.
and our thoughts are not documented, and so you've given them that outlet.
Yeah.
And now you've become her advocate, and so what are you doing here?
I mean, I guess I started with this premise, and it was
Right.
really an experiment. And you know, you have, as an artist, you have an idea and a vision, and mine was to create this kind of tapestry of South Bronx homes.
Right.
And then you see when other people come into it, for them, home can mean something much bigger than just like, this is my furniture, this is my kitchen, these are the pictures of my family. For her, this is something she lives with every day, and for her to tell her story, this is what's important to her. So for me, like, you know, as an artist, my role just changed completely, and that's been really interesting to just try to facilitate and make these. All of the projects are so different and required completely different kinds of of work and commitment. Hers may have been the most challenging to do, actually.
Why
But yeah.
was hers the most challenging?
She had a hard time getting like interviews from a lot of people didn't want to be involved or didn't want to be on camera about this, so we ended up having to be really creative. We did like a mock courtroom scene. We had another participant actually act like the lawyer, and Esther read her aunt's testimony, and I was the judge. So we had to get really creative with telling the story that's so complicated. And I think is a story that a lot of people are living with now. It's a really topical issue. Like, you know, we're trying to help Orlando, her brother, but at the same time, there's so many cases like his. So we're trying to raise awareness in general.
So your brother's Orlando Gonzalez?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, hopefully we're all helping Orlando Gonzalez get rightfully
Thank
released.
you. Yes.
Thank
Right, yeah, no, and congratulations to you both. Before we go, let's talk really quickly. Can you share with everyone when this festival is going to take place?
Yes, the first screening will be June 8th at Bronx Art Space, which is in the South Bronx. And it will be at 7:30 p.m. It's open to the public, 7:30, and then we're going to have a Q&A with the artists and an after party. So
Wonderful, and
everyone's
you
invited.
may even recruit new people.
Yes.
So it's a good place to be. It's great work. Congratulations to you
Thank
both.
you.
Thank you.
All right, and once again, you guys, the South Bronx Cribs screening will take place on Thursday, June 8th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. at Bronx Art Space, located on 305 East 140th Street in the Bronx. And for more information, you can RSVP lucia.delapaolera@gmail.com. That's lucia.delapaolera@gmail.com. Okay, we're taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. There's more open coming up next.